Welcome to Kevin Dale Photography, where I take you on my journey through photography. On today's episode, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the X100 Cam Mackey edition from Zhiyun. Welcome to today's episode. If you're not familiar with Kevin Dale Photography, we do gear reviews, tips, techniques, and tutorials, and sometimes we dive into film. If any of that sounds appealing to you, click the subscribe button below. For all of you who are back to Kevin Dale Photography, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, at the beginning of every episode, I ask for donations to big. But to the subject of today's episode, this is a peculiar looking small LED light, and I see the marketing on this X100 carries Cam Mackey's name, and if you spend any time in the YouTube photo video world, you've probably come across his work or some of his videos. I'm usually skeptical of gear with somebody's name stamped on it. That said, I do own the Lindsay Adler Gobo spots, and I also own the Peter McKinnon backpacks for Nomadic, so it's not unheard of that I will end up buying something with a celebrity's name on it. I've agreed to review this light because I've been looking for a compact modular RGB fixture with some real output behind it, and on paper, the X100 checks those boxes. Now, I'm not going to lie, when UPS showed up at my door, I got a little nervous. Online, the X100 looks small and lightweight, but when UPS dropped off the box, it was bigger and heavier than I expected. Thankfully, once I opened it up, everything made sense. A lot of the weight comes from the power supply, which you're probably not going to be hauling around on remote shoots anyway, and this is a full kit. Barn doors, a Fresnel, a Bowens adapter, a softbox, and a battery grip. All of that adds up, but at its core, it's actually quite small, and if you're powering it via USB-C, it stays very compact. The more I think about the design choices here, the more excited I get. You have multiple power options, some that keep it lightweight, others that give you more flexibility. You have multiple ways to shape the light. The kit includes a Fresnel and magnetic barn doors, plus a softbox. And if you want to use standard Bowens modifiers, there's an adapter for that too. That adapter even includes a hard reflector to boost output before it hits your modifier. It's a clever touch, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much of a difference it actually makes in real-world use. It should also be noted that there are two versions of this light, the MOLUS X100 RGB Standard and the Pro version. So, what's the difference? With the standard version, you get the light fixture, power supply, Fresnel reflector, and a pouch for your accessories. With the Pro version, you get everything I just mentioned, but you also get a battery grip, a 40cm foldable double diffuse softbox with a grid, magnetic barn doors, a zippered hard case, as well as a Bowens adapter. I'm going to review the Pro version today so you can see everything and then decide if you want the standard or the Pro version after checking out this review. It should also be noted that both the standard and Pro version come in two colors, black and army green. It looks like they hooked me up with army green. Zhiyun did provide me this light for review, but they made it clear that I am free to share my honest opinions, and that's exactly what I plan to do as we put this thing through real-world scenarios. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the specs. The Zhiyun MOLUS X100 RGB is a 100-watt RGB LED mono light. Its maximum output is 3,881 lux, but that can increase to 12,600 with the addition of the Fresnel. It has CCT, HSI, RGBW, and effects modes. It features both onboard and app control. Its color temperature range is 2500 to 10,000 Kelvin. It has a CRI rating of 95 and a TLCI rating of 97. It can be powered by a tethered USB-C connection or with the included lithium-ion battery. It has a 2550 milliamp hour battery and can run at up to 30 minutes at full power. The Pro Kit comes with a Fresnel lens, barn doors, a softbox, and a Bowens adapter. Its dimensions are 5.6 by 3.7 by 1.4 inches or 144 by 94 by 36 millimeters. It comes in at a weight of 0.8 pounds or 384 grams, and the Pro Kit version comes in at a street price of $369 US.
Okay, so I should be pretty dark right now. I'm backlit. I'm at ISO 640. I am at f6.3. I'm gonna do a talking head segment where I'm kind of backlit by that day sun. I'm gonna now fire up this light without the Fresnel, which I'm holding in my hand. It's just the bare bulb. You can see how it looks. Okay, so this is about 50% daylight balanced, f6.3 at roughly a meter away. Now I'm gonna put this Fresnel on and we'll see how much it increases the output. Okay, the Fresnel is on. I'm still at 6.3 ISO 640, so let me work on stopping down the aperture to, man, I'm at f18 now. Could probably go to f14 maybe. Yeah, f14. So what is that, like 3.5 stops, something like that. So that Fresnel definitely makes a huge difference. If you find yourself in a situation where you need more light, take that tiny little thing with you. It'll absolutely increase your output. Now, let's test this guy out with the included softbox. And just keep in mind, all these tests I'm running the light at about 50%. So I can make it twice as bright. Okay, so now I've taken the power from 50% all the way up to about 100%, and I've bumped the ISO from 640 to 800 while maintaining f6.3. So it's a little bit more than a stops difference between the bare LED by itself and then adding the softbox. But for a talking head segment, I think this looks perfectly fine. So if you're looking to purchase this whole light setup, this whole kit for a talking head segment, I'd say it's one of the coolest deals on the market from what I can tell.
All right, so I used this Zhiyun X100 in a variety of scenarios. I used the provided softbox. I used third-party beauty dishes with the Bowens mount adapter. I even used an umbrella to illuminate a music artist for some promotional material. And overall, I think this fixture was quite impressive. Now, let's take a look at how the app works.
Okay, so it should be pretty dark. I'm in my hotel room right now. I should be black. I am recording the app right now, so I have that on the screen as well. I'm gonna start turning the brightness up until it looks about right. Let's say right about there. So I have the softbox about a meter off, and I'm in CCT mode. This is an RGB fixture, so we'll go through all that here in a second. I'm at 5600 Kelvin, so I'm daylight balanced right now. I'm shooting at 5.6 ISO 1600 here in my hotel room. Now, I know a lot of you who are considering this fixture are probably wanting it for being on the road. I think that was kind of the spirit of why it was created. Give you creativity on the road while you're traveling and be compact. So as you look at it, tell me what you think of the quality as I go through it. This guy has green and magenta tint, which is cool. Being able to dial that in is great. And there's also some presets on here. You can go daytime, you can go tungsten lamp, modeling light, all sorts of different types of presets you can see on here, which is great. Now let's go into the color mode. And so as I move this around, you can see that this is absolutely an RGB fixture now. A little bright. I'm actually going to pull it back a little bit. I'm going to pull this down to about 9%. And that saturation is pretty darn intense, but I'm going to go through the different hues. You can definitely see that you can get creative with it. Looks like there's some preset gels on here. So as you move this inward, your saturation goes down. And as you move it outward, your saturation goes up. So you don't want to go too crazy with that. I tend to move it more inward because that looks a little bit more pleasing. It looks kind of more like what you'd see with a color gel in a studio. This is a color picker, okay? So I'm assuming, like, I don't know, here's the pink of my hand. I'm gonna pick that. And now it's gonna make it pink. I got kind of a blue shirt. I'm gonna retry. I'm gonna shoot my blue shirt. Pick. Okay, now it's blue. So you can literally just use your phone and take a picture of something and it'll change the color. Maybe you're using it for an event at a high school and you wanna use the school colors. You have a lot of options at your disposal with this, which is really cool. One thing I'm finding odd about this is I'm not seeing where the effects are on the app. So I see CCT, CCT gel. Maybe it's under something else. Yeah, not sure. I mean, I see HSI and RGB, which, by the way, I didn't show you RGB. That's just very simple. Red, green, blue, pretty straightforward. But I am not seeing the different effects on here, which is interesting because it does have effects. I guess I'll go to them manually, so hang tight. All right, so this is the SOS. This is the paparazzi, which, by the way, if you're sensitive to strobophonic stuff, you probably shouldn't be watching this video right now. Here is a candle. So it's kind of flickering like a candle. It's a very bright candle, but a candle nonetheless. This one's called Bad Light Bulb. And I'm pretty sure I can see on the bad light bulb, I'm pretty sure I can see like rolling shutter going down my screen or something, which is interesting. Here's TV, so it's like I'm looking at the TV, and of course the scenes keep changing or it cuts to commercials or something like that. So that's the TV. Lightning, of course. Strobe. This is explosion. So it has a lot of cool effects. I'm not gonna go through them all because it's gonna take forever, but there's a lot. All right, so you saw the effects. That was pretty cool. I would say that for a portable light, using it in my hotel like you're seeing right here, I think that this is actually a really cool solution. So if you're checking it out for those reasons, I think it checks a lot of boxes and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So let's go back to my YouTube studio though. I think I've done enough testing with this light. Let's talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about it.
All right, so I have a lot of time under my belt with this X100. I've reviewed a lot of LED lights on this channel. So let's talk about the things I liked and didn't like about it. And we'll start with the cons. The proprietary battery is definitely one of the trade-offs here. If you're on a shoot and you drain the battery, a replacement will run you $120. And while I hope this product stays on the market for years to come, if it ever gets discontinued, the proprietary battery will likely go with it. So if you end up loving this light, it might be worth investing in an extra battery or two, even though they aren't cheap. I also wish the battery grip were a bit more ergonomic. I get why it's shaped the way that it is. The blockier design allows for larger battery capacity, but a more natural camera style grip would have made the user experience noticeably better. The cover for this battery also kind of sucks. You need to pull it off, then you need to find a place to put it. I don't know how to improve that, but having to take it off isn't great either. And I already lost the cover to the battery terminal. So that is absolutely a demonstration that it's not a very good thing. And finally, let's talk about the battery. So I wasn't able to get anywhere near the advertised 30 minutes at full power. When I was shooting headshots with Lauren in the studio, switching between CCT and RGB modes, the battery drained rather quickly. In my workflow, I like to run continuous lights as bright as possible so I can lower my ISO and stop down a bit. With the X100, I kept wishing the battery would last a little longer. It just ran out a little faster than I'd prefer. Now, my Lumix cameras have dual native ISO, so I can push my ISO without introducing noise, and that's exactly how I worked around the issue. But not all of you are shooting on cameras that still look great past ISO 3200. So, battery life is a real consideration depending on how you plan to use this setup. As I mentioned earlier, some of you may want to consider getting an extra battery depending on your needs. Now, if you're using the Fresnel, you'll be able to back the power off so much that the battery life probably won't matter. But if you're doing longer sessions with a double diffused modifier like the included softbox in brighter environments, you'll be running this light at 100%. And in that scenario, the battery limitations are something you need to factor into your decision. The knobs feel pretty average. I wish they were slightly more robust. Even though it would add to the weight, a lighter metal like aluminum would have been really cool here. The proprietary mount for modifiers, I didn't really enjoy using all that much. I found that getting the softbox and Fresnel attached took a little bit of finesse and time. I like softboxes that click into place easily, and I found that I really had to stop what I was doing and devote my full attention to lining up those tiny pegs into the grooves. A minor gripe for sure, but it could absolutely be better. The screen is tiny. If you have problems reading small letters up close, the incredibly small font on this screen won't do you many favors. It does get bright, it's just really small. I have good enough vision, but if your vision is lacking, I don't think you're going to like working with this screen at all. And I know some of you are thinking, well, just use the app instead. And that brings me to my biggest letdown about this kit. The app isn't fully compatible with the fixture. When I used the ZY Vega app on iOS, several controls were simply missing. There's a built-in microphone that allows the light to react to music, but that feature doesn't appear anywhere in the app. I personally won't use the music reactive mode, but some of you might, and as of this recording, the only way to access it is through the onboard controls. As you saw in my demonstration, the effects modes are also absent from the app. Unlike the music feature, I think many of you would actually want effects control through your phone. I've reviewed dozens of LED lights with Bluetooth apps on this channel, and this is the first time I haven't been able to access effects modes via the app. It's a strange omission, and considering this kit is pushing almost $400, it really should have been included. The potential good news is that this should be fixable with a simple app update, but right now, as of the time of this review, those features just aren't there. Alright, that's it for the areas where I think this kit could have been better. Now let's talk about the areas where I think Zhiyun got this kit right. The onboard controls are easy to operate. The interface is super simple. Twisting lets you fine-tune it, and clicking the knob allows you to go through larger increments like 25% when you're talking about the luminance. Nonetheless, if you want further control over this unit, you can download the free Zhiyun app to your smartphone and control this via Bluetooth. So you have multiple ways to control this unit, and I'm putting that under the pros. And while the app was missing things, the parts of the fixture that it could control were easy to read and use. While I did give the knobs negative marks for feeling cheap, they're also steps. So while they are cheap feeling, the fact that they are stepped and incremental also feels premium. So how they feel both premium and cheap at the same time is beyond me. That's really the only way I can describe it. And I love incrementally stepped knobs, so I'm going to put that under the pros. I'm assuming Mackey's name is on this because he played a major role in the design. If that's the case, he deserves credit for some genuinely well thought out decisions. The ability to switch between smaller, proprietary modifiers and standard Bowens accessories gives this light real versatility. Multiple power options add even more flexibility, and that extra output boost you get when using the Bowens adapter is another thoughtful touch. Whether those choices came from Cam, the Zhiyun engineering team, or both, they make this fixture stand out in a crowded field. Maybe some of you have seen a modifier like this before, but I haven't. I've seen hard reflectors by themselves before, and I've seen Bowens mount adapters by themselves before, but I've never seen them layered on top of one another to where the reflector boosts the output to your double diffused modifier. That's pretty cool when you think about it, and I would love to see other companies copy a design like this moving forward. Now, can you find a 100 watt COB light at a similar price or even cheaper? Absolutely, but those alternatives are almost always larger, monoblock style lights, and many of them lack the modularity that you get in this system. For me, as someone who runs a YouTube channel, I always need to bring a camera rig to record myself using whatever piece of gear I'm reviewing that day, and that usually requires a second camera. When I turn the camera on myself, having a bright, compact light that lets me dial in color temperature to match the ambient environment and gives me multiple ways to power and modify it is exactly what I am looking for. In a lot of ways, this kit feels like it was made for creators like me. To highlight a few more thoughtful design details, the barn doors have numbered panels, which makes folding them down in the correct sequence effortless. When attaching the Fresnel, there's a guiding line very similar to what we're all used to when we're mounting a lens on a camera. That gives you clear visual feedback that everything is aligned and ready to lock into place. Small touches like these genuinely improve the user experience and show that someone put real consideration into how this light would be used out in the field. And of course, this fixture breaks down into many pieces, which allows you to store parts in certain pouches, zipper compartments, or anywhere else in your bag that's convenient for you. Traditional monoblock style lights are not as convenient as this to haul around. As you can see right here, this is a 60 watt Godox monoblock light. And of course this X100 is smaller, but it's 100 watts and that larger light is 60 watts. And of course, for those of you who do get the kit, they do give you a zippered case if you want to use that instead, and there's straps on the bottom if you want to attach things like a stand or the softbox. So should you buy this? Hopefully this review made the case clearly either way. If you want a light that gets bright, offers both CCT and RGB, supports multiple power options, stores away easily, and works with a wide range of modifiers, this is absolutely worth a serious look. And I do recommend that you look at the full kit because of the useful options it comes with. If you're interested in picking up this light or any of the accessories for it, I'll leave a link in the description below. That does it for today's episode. What did you think of my review of this X100? Was it fair? Was it not fair? Tell me about it in the comments below. Did you go with a different light instead of this? Tell us all about that in the comments below. And if you're a fan of this channel, I humbly ask you to click the subscribe button below. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.